Have you ever decided to make a positive change in your life, felt excited, motivated, ready to go, and then suddenly everything seemed to go wrong? Plans fall apart, obstacles show up, and you start wondering if you've made a mistake or if you should just go back to how things were. If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone, and more importantly, there's nothing wrong with you. In today's episode, we're going to explore why this happens, why change often feels hardest right after you begin, what's really going on beneath the surface, and how those moments that feel like setbacks may actually be part of the process that's moving you forward. Because what if the resistance you're feeling isn't there to stop you, but to help you step into something new? Kia ora and hello, welcome to the Living Life Well podcast. I'm Janine, Lattimore, a wellbeing writer and coach, providing information and inspiration to make daily health and happiness simple. I talk a lot about putting information into practice and starting new habits. And so I think it is important to talk about something that commonly happens when you decide to make a positive change. Things go wrong. It often looks like this. You decide to change your life, and at first it feels exciting, empowering, full of possibility. You set a new intention, take action, and begin moving forward. Then things start to unravel. Plans fall apart, obstacles appear, motivation dips, and what felt clear now feels uncertain. This can knock you back and sometimes even physically prevent you from proceeding. It can feel like you've hit a wall and may cause you to rethink your decision or wonder if you're being tested or if the universe is trying to show you that this isn't the right path for you. However, what if this experience isn't a sign that something has gone wrong, but rather evidence that something is actually working? This experience is very common. In fact, I would even go so far as to say that it is normal. In this podcast, I'm going to look at why it happens in terms of three key things: momentum and resistance, subconscious beliefs and identity, and challenge as a catalyst for growth. Key number one, momentum and resistance. Why it feels harder before it gets easier. When you're driving a car, the faster you are going, in other words, the more momentum you have flowing, the harder it is to change direction. It is the same in life. If you have a lot of momentum around doing something and then you change direction to do something else, then there will be challenges in terms of shifting the momentum. Momentum is created by what we think, feel, and do habitually, and by the routine flow of life around us. This includes the regular patterns of thought and behavior of other people that we interact with as well. There is a physical aspect to this and an energetic aspect. I think of it in terms of a game we used to play in swimming pools when I was a kid. My friends and I would decide that we were going to create a whirlpool and would all start walking in the same direction around the edges of the pool. At first, it was really hard to move against the stationary force of the water and to get it to start moving in the direction we wanted. There was a lot of resistance. As we kept going, momentum started to build and the water began to move with us. Eventually, so much momentum built up that the water began carrying us and we could simply float along with it. Then, someone would decide that we were going to change direction and start moving the water the opposite way. At first, it felt nearly impossible, and the water would sweep us off our feet and push us backwards because it had even more momentum now it was moving than when it was stationary. When we persisted, though, the water would eventually begin to slow down in that direction, and then with more focused effort on our part, shift and begin sluggishly moving the other way. Again, as we kept going, the momentum in the new direction built up until the water was once again carrying us along with the flow. It is the same in life. When we have been thinking a certain way and doing things a certain way, then we have developed a momentum of physical and energetic force in that direction. Physically, our life will be set up to support that way of behavior, and mentally, our thoughts will be organized around that way of thinking. If we decide to change that direction, then we will meet resistance. The more momentum we have going in the direction that we want to shift, the more resistance we will experience. Being clear increases your energy force for change. There are some things that you can do which can increase the energy force behind the new direction you want to move in, so that you have more strength to stand and direct the shift of momentum. One of these is being very clear in your decision for change, both in terms of what the change will be and your commitment to the change. If you are not fully committed to the change, or feel a lot of fear around it, or are not clear about exactly what the change will be, then that reduces the amount of energy force you are sending out to shift the current momentum. Alternatively, it can create a push-pull energy, where part of you wants the change, but part of you doesn't. Again, this will reduce the amount of energy force you are sending out to shift the current momentum. Smaller steps encounter less resistance. In line with this, breaking down large goals into smaller, specific single action steps can give you clarity. This increases the force of your energy to create change and also reduces the momentum you are moving against. It takes a lot less energy to create a whirlpool in a small pool than a big one. However, breaking goals down into small steps isn't just like creating whirlpools in small pools. It is like flowing water downhill through a cascading series of vortexes, where the energy created in the first vortex flows into and amplifies the second and continues to build with each step taken. Having support builds your momentum. Another thing that can increase the energy force behind the new direction you want to move in is having support. It takes a lot of work for just one person to move the water in a pool, and the momentum energy created will be less. On top of that, if other people around you are not moving in the same direction as you, then they will create resistance and become obstacles. Sometimes people are not moving with you simply because they don't know what direction you want to go. When this is the case, share your goals and ask for help, rather than trying to do it all alone. There are also likely to be people in your life who actively move against you. This might be energetically through their doubt and fear, or more directly through criticism and blocking. Try and avoid swimming with those people and get in a pool where there are supportive people moving in the same direction as you. Key number 2, subconscious beliefs and identity. Why your mind tries to pull you back to the familiar. When you start to do something different that is out of character for you, then your subconscious mind goes, hey, that's not who we are. We don't do that. Something is wrong. We need to get back to our familiar patterns so that we are safe. To your subconscious mind, any change, even positive ones, are viewed as a potential threat. And the more uncertainty or unknown factors there are to that change, then the stronger your subconscious warning bells will ring. Here's the thing. Your subconscious warning bells do not always sound like a clear alarm. You may experience them as fear or anxiety, or you may experience them as physical symptoms of stress, or as self-sabotage. Physical symptoms of stress can include muscle tension, lowered immunity, headaches, gut issues, brain fog, or even anger. This can make it more likely for you to injure yourself, or get sick, or have difficulty thinking clearly and creating solutions. Self-sabotage is your subconscious mind's way of getting you back to what is familiar, because that is what it knows as safe. Your subconscious mind is closely tied to your primal brain and your body, and its focus is to ensure your survival. Your higher evolution is connected to the newer frontal cortex part of your brain, and that largely goes offline when your body moves into a stress state. You can mitigate this by showing your subconscious mind that the change you want to make is safe and by making it feel familiar. I give you a number of different ways that you can do this in my book, The Great Life Planner. Key number 3, challenge is a catalyst for growth. Reframing challenges as a bridge, not a block. It is common to see challenge as a bad thing, as something going wrong, and therefore as a block. What if challenge was not a negative thing, but a positive part of the change process? Sometimes this is described in terms of the universe or God testing you, but I prefer not to use the word test, as it implies that we have to grow in some way to reach a level of acceptance, i.e., that we are not already enough. However, change does often require us to learn new things and to shift our perception of our identity. In other words, to become someone new. The best catalyst for growth is challenge. I consistently have experiences in my life where something appearing to go wrong leads me to learn something helpful. Many of the challenges we face when beginning to move in a new positive direction are not indicators that we are off our path, but are in fact part of the path. They are like the weights that help you build the muscles you need, or the door you have to work out how to open because you need that skill to get where you want to go. They are bridges, not blocks. And the higher the level of development you are moving to, the greater the challenge needed to prompt you to expand. Challenges and clearing subconscious limiting beliefs. There is also another aspect to this, which is described in the well-known quote by Carl Jung. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Often, the challenges that come up for us are an opportunity for us to perceive what limiting subconscious beliefs we have and to make the unconscious conscious so that we can effectively transform. We can also think of it as energy that will hold you back coming up to be cleared. When our subconscious patterns of thought and behavior remain hidden from our conscious awareness, then they drive our actions in reality on autopilot. It's like having an unknown default setting operating on a document you are typing in. You may consciously try and change the font or the layout, but until you clear the default settings, then any changes you make will not be saved and will be overridden. When this occurs in life, it is often seen as fate or as something external to us directing our life, but it is actually our own unconscious beliefs acting as the driver. How to identify and clear these subconscious drivers is a complex topic and beyond the scope of this podcast. I do provide a lot of information about how to do it in my book, The Great Life Planner. From setbacks to strength, seeing challenge differently. When things go wrong as you begin to make a positive change, it is easy to interpret that as failure or as a sign to turn back. But more often than not, it's a natural and necessary part of the process. You are shifting momentum, stretching beyond familiar identity patterns, and being invited to grow in ways that support your next level. The obstacles you encounter are not there to stop you. Rather, they are there to strengthen you, refine your direction, and bring awareness to what needs to change beneath the surface. If you can stay steady, committed, and open to learning, you'll find that what once felt like resistance becomes the very force that carries you forward. Just one thing. This week's Just One Thing action point to help you turn information into transformation through implementation is to choose one change or new habit that you have been thinking about making and seek support to do it. This might be sharing your intention with someone, asking a friend to take action with you, or joining an online or in-person group who are doing what you want to do. Getting support is one of the most effective ways to build momentum towards your desire because it can help you in multiple ways. It can provide encouragement, it can provide information and resources, and it can provide accountability. This is my key tactic for motivating myself to take action, especially when I have had an intention sitting in my head for a long time. that I'm having difficulty putting into practice. Sharing it with someone else gives me the extra nudge I need to commit and start moving on it. Thanks for listening to this episode of Living Life Well. I love feedback. If you try the just one thing action point for this week, I would love to know what happens for you. You can send me a direct message or add a comment. Wishing you a life lived fully and well. Aroha nui, much love, and I look forward to connecting again on the next episode. Bye for now.